So I have made my decision. And I think that running away is stupid. There you go, that's my explanation. You don't get a fully in-depth one this time. I just think, okay, here we go. Well, I don't like the idea of them being running away forever, because eventually they'll get caught, and eventually something bad's gonna happen, blah, 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 blah. But if we go there and fucking talk to her dad and figure out what the fuck's going, like, everything that's going on out of his mouth, then maybe we'll figure this out, and maybe work out a compromise or something. Who knows? Who knows what might happen? I also think confronting is better story-wise, because, I don't know, both ways makes both decisions make sense, but I like the way this story might play out rather than the just running away, because there you go, that's it, just running away. But this, we're actually gonna go and talk to him and be like, all right guy, we need to figure this out. The car advances steadily down the dark, unlit road. Eventually, the rough country lane under our headlights gives way to a paved road, and the scenery around us starts to suggest the work of human hands. The dreamlike world's behind us now. We've been dragged back into reality. 5 minutes, no. Glancing briefly at the GPS mounted next to the wheel, I do a little mental arithmetic. Another 30 minutes or so. There shouldn't be much traffic after this, so maybe a little earlier. At this time, no traffic, man. A tinge of barely suppressed uneasiness in her voice, Yumiko says that and nothing more. The hand resting in her lap forcefully grips the fabric of her skirt, trembling ever so slightly. You feeling anxious? Trust me, I am too. I don't know if this is leading us down a good or bad ending. Yumiko, you know who I am? I'm Yuji Occupation Student Mark II, alright? Like, after all that running and hiding, we're suddenly confronting an enemy head on. We can hardly blame the girl for being a little unsettled. For all her anger, Yumiko was only able to resist her father through self-imposed isolation until now. This must feel like something of a suicide mission. Don't worry, it's gonna be just fine. Taking one hand from the steering wheel, I reach down to Yumiko's lap and clasp her shaking hand. After a few strokes of my fingers against her white knuckles, that tense fist finally relaxes a little. Ah, good guy Yuji. We're going to fight with our words. After our mutual choice to confront Sakaki Machiaki, I promptly got in contact with JB. Ah, sweet! After which Yumiko and I laid low for a few days. And yesterday, I received the call I'd been waiting for. Yumiko and I set out in a rented car, but I still haven't told her the details of our plan just yet. Well, I said fight, but it would be a little too reckless to crash through the front door of a massive corporation and start kicking the furniture around, even though that'd be pretty fucking sweet and probably eventually get me shot with a shotgun again, because I always get shot with a shotgun at the end of these, so it doesn't matter. Well, the main plan is to not get shot with a shotgun. Oh god, I used to stop at a red light. For a moment, there's no sound except for the car's idling engine and the murmuring AM radio I left on for traffic reports. Before we get into that, if we're going to pick a fight, don't you think we're a little low on manpower at the moment? The shit are you implying, Yuji? Yeah, we're 2 against everybody. The sudden question leaves Yumiko bemused. Right now, we're heading to the place where our allies are waiting. Oh no. Oh no! That's right. A handful of people who are willing to fight the world with us. Oh, is it the idiot gang? Oh lord, here. The light changes to green. I step behind the black minivan next to us in the passing lane. I ease forward into the intersection. Our small silver van, bathed in the faint moonlight, speeds earnestly down the all but empty national road. That's exactly what we're going, isn't it? We're getting the gang back together? Is that what's happening? They're literally the only allies I can think of other than JB, but, you know, JB's already assisting us as much as she can anyway. Surrounded by darkness, that pale glint of light what the shit? Doggedly pushes forward, pursuing a single thread of hope. Oh no. We're here, the final battlefield, so to speak. Climbing quickly out of the car, I wait for Yumiko to follow. As she steps down the passenger seat, the girl looks up at the dark building in front of us, her mouth hanging open in shock. Come on, is it? Show it. Yup. Our fucking we got a little Machina back. We got, well, that's really the only one I care about right now. Looking at my face, then at the building, then back at my face, and back at the ground, then looking at my face, and back at the Yumiko stutters out a few flustered words. Paying her no mind, I stride forward and push open a familiar door with the first time in a good year. God damn. Ooh, sure has been a while. Normally, returning after a year's absence wouldn't be enough to inspire that much emotion. But then again, considering all the dramatic changes that have transformed our lives since leaving this place, maybe it's only natural that I'd get a little nostalgic. Why would that even be? But just as those words of disbelief leave Yumiko's mouth, oh no, the sound of rapid footsteps approaches quickly from the far side of the lobby. Wow, you don't even say Yumiko? It's just me? I mean, I'm not surprised. Whoa! Ooh, fucking big tits over here smacking me around. Before I can even turn around, a human missile barrels into my side and tackles me to the ground. Dude, and she did that to Yuji. Like, shoo. Hold, settle down. I'm like with somebody. Look, woman, couldn't you manage a slightly more, I don't know, normal hello? Whoa, slow down there. Yumiko's gonna get salty. Stop sucking on my damn cheek. Yumiko's going to... Squirming under Amine's embrace, I managed to move my face just enough to look up at Yumiko. Oh, yup. As expected, she's staring down at our co-ed professional wrestling match with an expression halfway between astonishment and fury. She's gonna like throw the box cutter right at your fucking throat. Where's Machina? I need to see her. It's been so long. Just get off already. It's hard to breathe with those great fat tits pressing down against my chest. Wow, Yumiko's boobs are awesome, okay? Don't even. She's getting annihilated. Look, Amine. I mean, hugs are fine. Like, I don't see a problem with that, but hugs for you can turn into something completely different. With great difficulty, I finally managed to pry Amine off me. You listening to her? Yeah, she's changed. She's got like a sweet voice and she's adorable. As I clamber to my feet, Yumiko's scary, angry glare gives way once more to an expression of sheer confusion. Amine's sudden assault might have been surprising, but not nearly so much as our return to Mahama Academy itself. Hey! Sachi, you're all well and good, but where's Machina? Let's... There she is! Still being a derp. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll explain the circumstances later. Sachi and Machina, looking completely unchanged from a year ago, make their appearance. Oh no.
いはい、今日も周辺に異常なしだったわよ。ねえ、サチ、もうご飯できて。
Hey! The idiot!
ユージ、ユミコ、戻ってきたの？今日、なんで、いつ？
When, where, how, why, Space Marines?
みちる様、さっき確かに伝えましたよ。鳥頭が散歩に行く前に伝言なんて無駄の極みなのよさ。
Woxies? Woxies? Huh?
ちょっと聞いてないわよ。聞いたかもしれないけど、つか鳥頭ってあと散歩じゃないわよ。見回りに行ってたんでしょ。
Michiru, you're still stupid. And you have the memory of a goldfish. It's fine.
はい、みちる様が見回りに行ってらしたのは存じ上げております。お疲れ様でした。ご飯の準備もできてますよ。コロッケです。
Ooh, croquettes!
ありがとう。わかればいいのよ、わかれば。で、何か重要なことを忘れてるような。
What do you mean? You're not forgetting anything. Don't worry about it.
そうよ、ユージ、ユミコ、なんでいきなり戻ってきたのよ。ねえ。
Damn it, she realized. Your mind works in interesting ways, Michiru, as always. It's kind of refreshing, really. Found myself smiling at the nostalgic farce playing out in front before my eyes. On the other hand, Yumiko's too stunned to even speak. Her expression on her face suggests an ongoing internal debate as to whether this is reality or some kind of dream. This has to be the good ending. Why the fuck would we come all the way here and have these like silly happy moments only for it to shit all over us? Come on.
Yuji.
Man, I'm good. I'm just so confident this is the good end at this point. Finally, she reaches out tentatively and gives the sleeve of my shirt a little tug. Well, they're our allies.
いきなり寮に戻ってきたと思えばみんな揃ってるし、しかも何かわけのわからない話をしているし、ねえ、私だけなの？何もわかってないの？
Not even sure where to begin asking questions. Yumiko lets her confusion spill out in a somewhat jumbled stream of words.
え？ユージ、あんた、榊さんに何も説明しないで帰ってきたの？
Yes. I actually really don't explain anything to her. I just kind of do things. Amine raises an eyebrow in surprise. Well, more or less, there's a lot going on and didn't find the time to explain, alright?
それは、榊さんが混乱するのも無理はありませんね。
She's just like, what is happening?
そんじゃお兄ちゃんの部屋行って話しようぜ。あと腹減った。
Oh, I'm hungry too, Makina. Come on, you sit in my lap and we'll have a good old time.
はい、それじゃあご飯を食べながら作戦会議にしましょうか。
Fucking strategy meeting. Oh, it's gonna be like the council of idiots except with me now. Oh, Lord.
そうね。ほら、みちるも頭ひねってないでご飯食べましょう。
She's like scratching her head like a monkey. Just.
あれ、なんだっけ。作戦、飯、
She's trying to ray analysis, but it's just her brain doesn't work. Although we're probably just making Yumiko even more confused right now. For the time being, we decide to regroup in the management room. In other words, my former residence. Alright, where should I even begin? After everyone settled down inside the room, I paused to collect my thoughts. I bet I'm sitting in this chair. I bet I have the chair right here, like, turned around, and then every one of them, like, sitting on the bed or, like, lined up here. I've actually taken quite a number of steps without Yumiko's knowledge, and in some cases, matters are tangled enough that explaining systematically might prove challenging.
では、私から質問していいかしら?
Is it gonna be why I didn't tell you anything? Because I can't answer that question. Makes sense. Clearing up your question should make things nice and comprehensible.
じゃあまずこの場所について。 どうしてまだ学園が残っているの？そしてみんなはどうしてここにいるの？
You know, she brings up a good point. I didn't really think about it. From the question, I'm assuming you thought the school was going to be shut down. Yumiko nods. I didn't really think it'd be shut down, though.
だって嫌な言い方だけれど、ここはもともと私一人のためにあの人が作った場所だから。
Also correct, but I still didn't think you would shut it down. Maybe you thought of like, oh, there's always a chance she might come back or something like that. Who knows? When you disappeared, so did the meaning for its existence. That's your line of thought.
ええ。だから戻ってきてすぐにそれが気になったのよ。卒業しているはずのスオーさんまでいるし、どういうことなのかって。
Yeah, everyone else but Omne would have been here, but Omne's here. Well, I called everyone. I set this up. The super senior in question responds with a bright, casual smile.
まあ、榊さんとユージがいなくなった後、そういう話も出たんだけどね。
Sachi nods and follows up Omne's interruption with a comment of her own.
ミニベロを見せられて共謀してたんじゃないかって言われたりもしました。
You guys didn't even do anything. I really am sorry for that. Must have been a real headache.
まったくよ。私がどれだけ苦労したと思ってるのよ。
Oh, it's not all about you, Michiru, okay?
チルチル何もしてへんやんけ。
Get wrecked by Machina as usual.
思いつきでとりあえず首突っ込むのはやめた方がいいわよ。
Ooh, harsh words.
うっさいわね。私だって。
I'm going back to the topic now. The suspicion that they helped arrange our escape was cleared up eventually. Soon afterward, the principal informed everyone that the school would be closing its doors. Okay.
でも、そうなっちゃうとユージたちが帰ってくる場所がなくなっちゃうから、なんとかして私たちで残せないか、学園長を通じてうまい具合に説得してもらったのよ。
Oh, I likes it. I like that a lot.
一体どういう風に？
That took a lot of convincing.
ここが残っている限り、そして私たちがここに住んでいる限り、風見さんたちが戻ってくる可能性がありますよ、と話をしてもらったんです。
Oh shit, I was right. So it was pretty much just like, oh, they might come back, so let's keep it open. Like, you know?
さも罠を仕掛けるかのように、地図に一芝居打ってもらったのよさ。
Classic.
狙いは成功。学園も寮もひとまずは存続が決まった。まあしばらくの間は周辺を妙なのがうろうろしていたけど、それも時間が経つにつれて減ってきたしね。
And then eventually Jesus didn't care anymore.
松島さんが見回りをしていたのもそのためだったのね。そう大事な任務だからね。
I like to think it's just her being stupid as usual, just doing Michiru things.
今日当番なの忘れてたくせによう言うわ。
I feel like leaving Michiru to do anything important, like patrolling, is probably a really bad idea.
ミチル様、サチはいつもおそばにいますからね。
Oh, Sachi. Always the ally, never the villain.
寝坊ぐらい多めに見てよ。あとサチ、かわいそうな子扱いすんなよ。
Anyway, I think that basically covers your first question. Make sense?
ええ。ではもう一つ。これが本題だけど、どうやってこれからあの人に立ち向かうの？ここに戻ってきたからには何か考えがあってのことなのよね。
I mean, even though it's a long shot, you think maybe, well, it wouldn't really be a long shot to have him come to us. Just because, I mean, he's visited before, so it's not like he's unwilling to come. So, like, we could just be like, all right, hey, hold on. You come here personally. That way we can talk in person or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Yeah, of course. Instead of continuing, I turn to Sachi and nod. Sachi indicates her understanding with a moment of eye contact, then opens the notebook PC she's been holding and turns it to face us. A spreadsheet program appears on the screen with a list of names in the first column and thick blocks of detailed information stretching out to the side.
これは?
Yumiko looks over it for a moment, then glances at me with a confused expression on her face. Before explaining that, let me ask you a question, Yumiko.
Huh?
Why has your father, Sakaki Michiaki, been pursuing you so doggedly, in the first place?
どうしてって、それは。あの人の会社の跡継ぎに血縁のある私を添えて道具としていいように利用するため。娘だからどうこうというより先にそれが立っていると思うわ。
I nod deeply. That's right. Sakaki Michiaki leads the East Branch group. And he wants to make you into his puppet. Those are the two facts that caused this situation.
その通りよ。でも、どうして今更そんなことを改めて言うの?
You don't see where I'm going with this with here? Huh? Come on, Yumiko. Use your brain mind.
まさかあの人をトップの座から退けるということ？
はい、正解です、榊さん。
Yumiko shakes her head back and forth in disbelief.
無茶よ、そんなの。社長を交代させるには取締役会の承認が必要だわ。そんなにうまくいくはずが。
Dude, I feel like we figured all this shit out, Yumiko.
こちらをご覧いただけますか?
May I direct your attention to the list? Once again, Sachi gestures toward the screen of her notebook computer.
東浜グループは東浜ホールディングスという持ち株会社がすべての株式を保有しています。そしてその持ち株会社の株式の保有比率は
Well, with a click on the trackpad, she flips from the dense spreadsheet to an easily comprehensible pie graph.
公共の交通機関を所有している関係から国土交通省が約3割、他はおおよそ 10% 程度の保有率で電力、銀行、保険、建設の各社が保有しています。
Okay, so that just they hold a lot.
肝心の榊道明氏の個人所有分は数%というところですね。ねえ、マキナ、サチってさっきから一体何言ってんの？ねえ。
Shove a croquette in your mouth, woman.
いいからそこに置いてある魚ニソでも食っとけ。な。
Thanks, Makina. That's all we need to do is just shove food in her mouth. That's really it.
保有比率の件は分かったわ。でもそれがさっきの話にどうつながるの？
風見さんから依頼を受けて私たちはその切り崩し工作を行ったんです。
切り崩し？株式の所有企業をってこと？
Man, these are some scary girls.
いやー、榊さんを前にして言うのもなんだけどさ、お父さん結構恨み買ってる部分もあったみたいでね。ガチガチかと思ったけど意外とうまくいったのよさ。はい、少々危ない橋も渡りましたが、風見さんの指令通り相手方をこちらにつけるための情報を確実に集めてまいりました。
Jesus Christ. They really put in a lot of work for this, huh?
なんかよくわかんないけど、本当にあんたを敵に回したくはないわね、私は。
You'll forget that mental note in like 5 seconds. Well, I can't disagree with Michiro on that one.
と言ってもせいぜい私にできるのは潜入工作レベルのことで、巨大な企業相手にあれこれといった大掛かりなことまでは不可能です。
そうよね。だとしたら一体
As Yumiko's face fills with questions, I lightly drop a hand onto the crown of her head. And that's why JB and I arranged a few things behind the scenes.
Yuji と原寺さんは一体どのぐらい前から
The whole time. Since right after our initial escape.
そんな前からだったの
1 year ago, Yumiko and I chose to flee together. At the time, I said we were going to look for an answer, not just run away. And just as those words might suggest, I began a quiet search from the shadows, seeking a way for Yumiko to earn genuine freedom.
というわけで、現在の反主流派にはこのようなメンツがいるわけです。
Hey, we haven't seen her in a little bit, huh? I see. With a little prodding, we might really stand a chance. To eliminate the problem posed by Sakaki Michiaki, we only need to deprive him of power. It didn't take long for me to reach that simplistic conclusion, but as a fugitive with only a few students for allies, there didn't seem to be any practical way of making it happen. That changed, surprisingly enough, with a furtive proposal from JB. Sakaki Michiaki had meddled directly in Ichigaya's internal affairs in this matter, inspiring widespread resentment. Certain higher-ups had directly authorized an attempt to arrange his dismissal. Ooh. However, JB was in frequent contact with Sakaki Michiaki as our liaison. It was too dangerous for her to take any direct action. I was assigned her direct subordinate, a woman named Chiara, to assist in planning the coup.
現在はまだ過半数に達していません。今後は敵に気づかれないように協力してくれる勢力を増やしていくことが必要となります。
Right. I've already explained matters to the others at the dorm. Go ahead and get in contact with them as well.
わかりました。
Thank you. To our extreme good fortune, there was already what JB called a hostile internal power operating inside the East Beach ownership, brain. And it didn't prove too difficult to make them into our allies. In any case, we carried our complex preparations forward, carefully but steadily, aiming to arrange a day of reckoning. Not that I mentioned any of that to Yumiko at the time. Not too long ago, we finally managed to secure a majority for the opposing faction. Jesus. Fucking corporate takeovers. I take out my cell phone and hold it up for Yumiko to see. You know how we hid out for a few days before coming here?
あれもこのことに関係していたの
Just stalling for time while our allies called an extraordinary general meeting. Agenda's pretty simple. A resolution for a certain board member's dismissal. Damn.
解任動機
Damn. That's right. We're going to have Sakaki Michiaki removed from the board of directors. Then he'd be... Ooh. That's gonna feel great.
取締役を罷免つまりそれが成立すれば代表でもなくなるということ
And then he won't have any reason to come after you anymore, because then his life is ruined. Exactly. You can't be the representative director of a stock company. It's president. If you're not even a director. I snap out my cell phone and type out a series of digits. It's the same number Yumiko called from the public telephone about a week ago, on the verge of giving up hope. The same call that nearly met our fate, but this time, it's a declaration of war. Oh, Lord. In response to Michiaki's surly greeting, I firmly and clearly announce myself. This is Kazami Yuji Occupation Student Mark II. From the other end of the line, the man audibly catches his breath. You fucking heard me, you son of a bitch. All of a sudden, Michiaki shifts into an entirely different gear. There's obvious tension in his voice. I'm inside the prison you built. Jesus. After considering this for the briefest of moments, Michiaki responds with a shout. Oh, you're good at guessing games. But then again, I suppose that one wasn't too much of a leap for you, was it?
そこにユミコもいるんだな。
That's right. She's standing right next to me. You want to talk to her? No. If you want her back, come to Mihama Academy dorm at 10 tomorrow morning. We'll talk then.
明日だと。お前、明日がどういう日か分かって言っているのか。
I don't see any reason I should answer that question, but in general, President Sakaki, I'd encourage you to tread carefully. I abruptly end the call, not bothering to answer Michiaki's question. Yumiko's still staring at me in a slack-jawed astonishment. I turn to face her and deliver a reassuring little thump on the shoulder. There, we've got our actors and our stage. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the curtain to rise. Now we play the waiting game. Holy shit.
おい、答えろ。おい、おい。
Get wrecked, you loser. お？
私だ。今から社へ向かうぞ。ああ、そうだ。ユミコの件で動きがあった。それと、市ヶ谷へ緊急連絡を回せ。すぐにだ。そうだ。アルデラだ。あのスパイ女を陸将補経由で連れてこい。明日の総会、そこに絡んでくる可能性も出てきた。逃げられる前に急げ。わかったな。
Oh man, this is... After completing our thorough explanation for Yumiko, we begin a final review of our plans for tomorrow. Yumiko and I will handle the actual discussion with her father. Everyone else, focus on gathering information.
了解。
Thank you. You get a pet. You get like fucking 30,000 pets because you're the best character in the game. Sachi, I'd like you with us as my point of contact in case something we need to know about happens. Michiru, you can patrol this area starting early tomorrow morning and keep an eye out for any suspicious movements. Understand?
はい、わかりました。オッケー。
You get one pet and you get like nothing. Alright. We'll gather in the lobby around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Same goes if there's any sign of movement before then. Let's finish the job, everyone. Dismissed. Damn. With that, everyone except Yumiko nods and gets to their feet. Since we've been preparing for this well in advance, there aren't any questions or objections now. All that's left is to assume our roles and see how it all plays out tomorrow. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my god. Yumiko calls out to stop us, and the others turn back to face her.
私、急な話です。まだ理解できてない部分も多いけど、みんなが今回のことで私のために動いてくれたってことはよく分かったわ。本当に。
Just as the words start to leave Yumiko's mouth, Amane raises a hand to interrupt.
そこは謝るんじゃないでしょ。
Nothing at all. It's fine.
そんな答えじゃお兄ちゃんに怒られるのよさ。
If you say I'm sorry again, I'm gonna be real pissed.
はい、謝られるようなことはしていませんよ、私たちは。そうそう、謝るぐらいなら後でお礼言ってもらった方がいいわよ。
Yeah, I could agree with Michiru on this one. Yumiko looks at everyone's faces in turn, her expression still shadowed with guilt.
まあ、まだお礼を言われるにも早いんだけどね。ひとまずこの一件が終わったらみんなでゆっくり話しましょう。
そうさ。
みんな榊さんと仲良くなる前に離れ離れになっちゃったから、これからね。
Aww, I like that. That was really sweet. Even after our classmates leave, a conflicted expression lingers on Yumiko's face. I can see her complex mixture of gratitude, guilt, and anxiety in her eyes. On the whole, it would be fair to say the girl's still somewhat unsettled at the moment. It's hard to blame her after how rapidly vents have developed in the last few hours. But even so, tomorrow she's going to have to confront the thing that's been holding her back all this time. Oh no. Why is it night? Why are we? Let's not have a little...
Yuji, もう寝ちゃった?
Okay, we're just gonna talk. Everything's fine. Yeah, having trouble sleeping? I decided to have Yumiko sleep in my room tonight for security reasons, if nothing else. It's been a while since we turned off the lights and got in bed, but there's no hint of drowsiness in her voice.
Yuji は本当に勝てると思ってる?
You're damn right we can win. Her uneasy words echo inside the dark, quiet room. If I didn't, I never would have asked you that question in the first place.
本当に?
Yeah, compared to risking everything on a thoughtless bet, running away and keeping our heads down would have been the clear choice. Much less risk involved. I hear clothes rustling softly on Yumiko's side of the bed. We've been lying down with our backs turned to each other, but it sounds as though she's turned to me.
そうよね。ごめんなさい。あなたはいつも考えているものね。
Well, one of us has to. She pauses for a moment, then sighs softly.
あなただけじゃない。寮のみんなにしても、私のためにずっと長い間頑張ってくれて。それに対して私は何一つとして役に立てていない。
Yumiko, I swear I'm gonna bap you in the head. Like, just bop! Stop saying that you've been no use to anybody!
こうしてお膳立てしてもらっても、未だに不安でいっぱいで、逃げ出したくなってしまう。
Yumiko, don't you remember what I told you at the very beginning? I thought I was pretty clear about this when I coaxed you out of that airplane. Nobody needs your guilt or apologies. Try gratitude. All you have to think about right now is breaking away from your father and the Sakaki house. Once you get your freedom, show appreciation to the people who helped you. That's all the repayment we need.
できるのかしら、私に。
Of course you will. You've made your own decisions for the last year, Yumiko. You've grown. Have a little confidence in yourself.
そうよね。スオさんにも言われたしね。せめてちゃんと返せるように。
My words seem to have at least some effect, as Yumiko mumbles vaguely encouraging words to herself. There's another rustling around from the other side of the bed. She seems to have turned away from me once more. It's not like I'm absolutely confident about our chances myself, and I'm sure as hell not qualified to be pompously preaching at Yumiko like this. The words I spoke just now were directed to myself as much as her. An attempt to persuade a coward to stand and fight for once in his life.
ユージ、お願いがあるの。
You're blushing and I don't like favors. Before too long, Yumiko speaks to me again. Sure, go ahead.
もう泣き言を言ったりはしない。みんなのためにも、ユージのためにも、自分のためにもあの人に立ち向かう。だから。
That's a good Yumiko. She's learned. She hesitates for a moment, then continues slowly.
最後とは思いたくない。でも、もう明日しかないから。抱いてほしい。
Well, I don't think I told you guys, but I'm gonna keep recording until we actually get to the end of this. But really, on the finale, you're gonna want me to age restrict the finale? The fuck, Blizzard?
もう一度だけ確かめたいの。あなたが、ユージがかけがえのない大切な存在だって。体で確かめたいのよ。
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we can. I mean, I'm not opposed, but age restriction, you know? This time I'm the one who flips over in bed. Yumiko's trembling slightly, even from behind. It's obvious that she's forcing herself to be brave. First, I gently place a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Understood. Just promise me one thing first.
何かしら。
Promise me you won't think of this as the last time. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives, alright? That's a promise. Don't even let yourself think otherwise. Yumiko's back shivers again, just a little. She sniffles once more before responding. Think I'll pretend not to notice the hint of suppressed tears in her voice.
ユジ、分かった。
That a girl. That a girl. Letting the tension drain from her body, Yumiko opens herself to me.
激しくしてほしい。私を飲み込むくらいに。
Oh my. Well, you know, actually, you know what? I don't normally do this, but I'm going to cut it right here because I already know. Here comes the spiciness. I already know it's happening. I already know. And that way, we don't have to age restrict shit. That way, anybody can watch the finale. How about that? You like that? You know, I like it too. There you go. Bing, bang, boom, we're going. Ooh. Well, we did the diddly. Twice, actually. Even after we've thoroughly confirmed our mutual feelings, Yumiko and I continue talking for a long time. Making love seems to have eased the girl's earlier uncertainty somewhat. Her voice has regained something of its usual calm.
あの人のことを考えていたわ。
Sakaki Michiaki? Thank God she's not actually her sprites here, because then I'd have to edit and I don't. Ooh. Yumiko nods slightly against her pillow.
私はあの人のことを恨んでいる。憎み続けている。だけど怖いぐらいにあの人のことを何も知らないのよ。
Especially for a man who's your father? Yeah. From what Yumiko says, the man known as Sakaki Michiaki doesn't enjoy discussing his past in any detail. Any reader of economic magazines or websites can find an outline of his impressive academic background and professional accomplishments, but there's virtually nothing to be found on the personal aspects of his life. Even the sexual scandals Yumiko described have been largely scrubbed from the narrative. For so little to be known about such a public figure suggests a concentrated effort to scare off or manipulate the media. All I found is a loose sketch of the man's personality, repeated again and again. For the sake of expanding his corporate empire, Sakaki Michiaki will do absolutely anything. Oh, well, he's about to lose that, ain't he? Wonder if something happened when he was younger. Human beings are shaped by their childhood experiences more than anything else. Even Yumiko doesn't know much about that part of her father's life, but there must have been something that made him into the ruthless obsessive he is today.
ユジを信じてる。でもあの人は今でもやっぱり怖い。
See, I get it. I get why. But we're gonna get through this. You know, it's gonna be great. Yumiko seems to shrink a little as she draws close to me.
大丈夫よね、ユジ。
Of course. Rest assured. Embracing Yumiko with one arm, I run my hand through her hair, then stroke her cheek. After a few minutes after her trembling finally dies down, a peaceful drowsiness settles over us both. All right. Oh God, no.
来たかね。
ええ、もう来る気はありませんでしたが、緊急にとのことでしたので。
Like I said, it's not that I really want to be here, but
風見裕二から連絡があった。
Oh, surprising. Yes.
はい、その旨報告は受けております。
あの軍人上がり、生意気にも私を挑発してきた。由美子を返してほしければ、明日あの辺境の町へ来いとのことだ。
You better actually show up, you little piece of shit.
私どもの部下のやったこと、重ね重ねお詫びいたします。至急現地に赴きまして説得を。
そんな猿芝居はもういいんだよ。 春寺さん。
私はこの一件に関与していないと何度も申し上げ、証拠も提出したはずですが。
あくまで白を切り通すか。まあいい。ひとまず明日が終わるまではおとなしくしてもらうぞ。おい、やれ。
はい。
社長、どういうおつもりですか？これは私どもに対する不当な行為であり、拘束など。
無論あなたの上司の許可は得ている。表向きは泊まりがけのご招待だ。後で何を言おうが遠慮なくもみ消す。
Wow, this is oh boy.
あなた方が何を企んでいるのかは知らんが、こんなくだらない騒動で榊家の野望を費えさせるわけにはいかん。
Hold on.
あの軍人上がりは即刻排除し、由美子は返してもらう。
Hold on. The way he's saying it. Hold on, I got this. Hold on, I gotta clear my throat. Hold on.
The Sakaki family's ambitions to be crushed by a petty rebellion like this. I'll eliminate that soldier brat and take Yumiko back whether you like it or not. Unlimited power!
何のことをおっしゃっているのか分かりかねます。
軍人はどこまでも任務に忠実だな。その心があなたの部下にもあればよかったのだが。
Hey, fuck you. Because I'm a Yuji man. You know what?
何か連中と連絡を取るかもしれん。電波の届かない地下にでも閉じ込めておけ。
Damn.
はい。
Damn. Can't JB like kick their ass?
生きて帰れるだけマシだと思え。あの人ならば間違いなく存在ごと消していただろうからな。
Fucking goddamn it. 5 in the morning, huh? Jesus. By the time the morning light against my eyelids wakes me, Yumiko's already gotten out of bed and dressed herself. Thank goodness. Noticing me stare, she turns back to face the bed.
Yuji, ohayo.
Hi. Oh, today's the day. Her voice is clear and dignified. There's no hint of weakness or fear from last night. It sounds as though she's settled herself for what's coming. Yep. Good morning. I roll out of bed and quickly begin my own preparations. Oh God! It was 4 hours! A little while later, everyone's gathered in the lobby just as we arranged yesterday evening. There's 1 more hour before our appointment with Michiaki. Time we'll use to make a few final preparations.
そろそろ時間ね。マキナ、裏口はしっかり固めた？
Magna, did you post your sniper up in the front? Yeah, boss! No, Mom. She's not that yet.
サッチンと一緒に厳重に固めたのよさ。
Fortified.
もし侵入者があってもすぐにわかるようにはしてあります。
And then Sachi will go like battle maid on him or whatever. Well, this isn't going to be a siege battle, but it never hurts to cover all your bases. Stay on your toes. How's it going on your end, Sachi? Sachi responds without taking her eyes off the screen of her laptop.
大丈夫です。予定通り臨時株主総会は開催されるようです。
Excellent, excellent. It's all coming up Millhouse. At a glance, there's nothing odd visible from the video feed of the conference room she's monitoring. Okay, now we just wait for the villain to make his entrance. Forming my right hand into a fist, I lightly smack it onto my left palm. And almost as if someone's taking their cue, the sound of running footsteps approaches from outside the dorm. A whole lot of people? Oh no. Returned from her patrol, Michiru bursts into the lobby in a state of obvious consternation.
じゃあ行ってくるわ。
Yumiko, who had been sitting on the sofa in silence throughout our meeting, raises gallantly to her feet. As the others watch with concern in her eyes, In their eyes, rather. She slowly opens the door and heads outside. Okay, I follow quietly in her wake. Alright, well, an extraordinary spectacle greets us. Specifically, it's an absolute swarm of jet black cars, reminiscent of that parent-teachers conference visit, but on a far greater scale. I count more than 10 vehicles at a glance. Jesus. Hard-faced men in black suits who could easily pass for gangsters form a solid row in front of their cars. The dorm's entirely surrounded. The unbroken ring of vehicles and men stretches around the building at a distance of maybe 10 meters. Clearly not interested in letting us get away this time. Probably only natural, given his long pursuit and the insult I delivered last night. But above all else, I think this display of force is the product of Sakaki Michiaki's sheer stubborn tenacity. The rear door of the car, stopped directly in front of us, swings open, and with extremely deliberate movements, a single man emerges. A slender, graying man dressed in a conservative charcoal suit. His glare is as sharp as a knife and significantly less friendly. Yumiko's father, Sakaki Michiaki. Oh, God.
まさか予告通り、バカ正直にここにいるとはな。
You have no fucking idea. The first words out of his mouth are a toneless expression of surprise. And he looks over at his daughter, or as he looks over at his daughter, the corners of Michiaki's mouth jerk up slightly into something resembling a smirk.
久しぶりだな。少し痩せたんじゃないのか。
I almost read that as, have you gained weight? I was gonna be like, wow, she's a shitbag.
ええ。突然襲われたり、海外に連れ去られそうになったり、必要に追われたりしたから。きっとそのせいだわ。
Dude, she is like no nonsense right now. Good.
は。誰のためを思ってやったことなのか分かろうともせずに。まあいい。
Michiaki's scornful expression gives way with disconcerting smoothness to a gentle smile.
なあ、ユミコ。今ならばまだ許してやる。最後の慈悲だ。お前が私の元へ戻ってくれば、その男は許してやろうじゃないか。
You think that's gonna work? Yumiko, stand your ground. I know you will.
泣いて許しを請え。お父さんごめんなさいと謝罪しろ。そうすれば全て丸く収まるんだ。さあ、早く。
This fucking guy, Jesus.
嘘よ。
Oh God.
父親を信じられないのか。
No! Never! You can't trust this motherfucker.
父親だなんて。あなたを父と思ったことなんて、あの裏切られた日以来、一度だってなかったわよ。
Honestly, I'm genuinely surprised that he actually showed up. Like, you know, that's how I can't trust him as far as I can throw him, man. Yumiko's voice quivers with rage. Her teeth grinding audibly, she squeezes spiteful words out of her throat and fires them at Michiaki like arrows. Bam, bam, bam!
今日、こうしてあなたの前に立ったのは、娘として戻るわけでも、泣いて許しを請うわけでもないわ。
おお、何のためだと言うんだ。
To eliminate you! No, oh my God. Oh? A gust of wind blows across the yard, kicking up a swirling cloud of sand. For just a moment, it hides Michiaki from view, and then appears when he appears again. Yumiko's tightly pursed lips open. Ah, yes. Michiaki doesn't even flinch. But Yumiko presses on regardless. Her eyes slightly downcast, letting the anger she's kept inside flow freely out of her.
ずっと孤独だった。あなたから捨てられ、何もない時間を過ごし、一方的に呼び戻されて、裏切られて。私にとっては、家族なんて存在しないも同然だった。一方的に放り込まれたこの学園でも、私は囚人同然の生活を押し付けられた。誰とも話せず、 何も考えられず、ずっと一人きりだったけど。
Yumiko turns her back. Her gaze lingers on me and Sachi, then turns to the dorm where our other classmates are waiting. I've never seen such a peaceful smile on her face before.
ここには同じような傷を負った子たちがいたわ。すぐには無理だったけど、少しずつゆっくりと話していくことができた。そしてユウジが来た。ユウジもまたいろんなことを私に教えてくれた。私を人間にしてくれた。
Yeah, you're damn right I did. I came along. With a flutter of her hair, she spins back to face Michiaki once more.
なのに、あなたはそれすらもまた奪おうとした。私には空想なものばかりを与え、心の通ったものは何一つとして与えようとも、持つことも許さなかった。でも、もう私は言いなりにはならない。自分の口で喋って、自分の手足で動いて、あなたの人形になんかなり下がらない。
Yes! Yes! Oh.
あなたはたくさんのものを壊して潰してきたわ。お母さんだって裏切ってボロボロにした。
Yumiko's eyes open wide in a furious glare. Her teeth snap together even more loudly than before.
あなたみたいな感情のない機械なんかに父親だなんて言われたくなんかないのよ。
Damn, she's calling him an it. Ooh.
生意気な口を叩くな。
If you get close, I will in fact destroy you. No, don't falter now! A harsh bellow cuts through the air. For a moment, Yumiko flinches back.
お前のような子供に何がわかる。
Michiaki takes a firm step toward us. Don't do that. I got Makina up on the roof. No, I don't, actually. He speaks in a voice so low it seems to raise up from the ground underneath his leather shoes.
父から受け継いだ大盗品を小娘のわがままで潰すわけにはいかんのだ。ゴミのような周りの企業を掌握し、傀儡を増やし、いつかは国をも買う。それこそが父の夢であり、父と同じである私の夢だ。父は私を人形にした。自らがその人形の中に入り、動き、大盗品を揺るぎなきものにした。私はそれを継ぎ、お前を新しい人形にして、器をさらに大きくするのだ。
You know what's worse is he let his father do that to him. Jesus, that's the thing standing in front of Yumiko right now isn't a human being. It's the incarnation of an ambition handed down through the decades. A company in the shape of a man trying to swallow her into itself.
その大いなる前提の前に、個々の意志などゴミに等しい。そんなものを大切だと説かれたところで、何の考えもない。
やっぱり人間じゃないわ。
No,
あなたは。
not at this point, no.
また小娘の分際で人間がどうだのと語るのか。もうたくさんだ。お前の母親もきっとそんな甘いことばかり言っていたから勝手に潰れていったのだろう。
Ooh, you shouldn't have said that. I don't think you should have said that, buddy.
お母さんのことをそんな風に言わないで。元はといえばあなたが原因を作ったんじゃないの。
Yeah, he single-handedly destroyed her life and Yumiko's life.
会社の発展のためにあの程度のことすら許容することもできなかった強量な女だ。私が責任を感じることなど何もないだろう。
そう、全部やはり嘘だったのね。私に言ってきた言葉も態度も何もかもが。
Oh yeah, we all knew that was a lie, right? Yeah, he might have been able to be like little trickery here and there, but you know.
さあ、 時間の無駄だ。実力行使に出てもいいが、荒っぽいことはしたくない。
You are
おとなしく車に乗るんだ。
He is not even ready for what's gonna happen. As Michiaki extends his hand, Yumiko draws back a step in refusal. The next words out of her mouth are delivered in a voice as cold as ice.
あなたはもう終わりよ。
Damn!
なんだと。
Just a fucking, just a shot right through his chest and just mocking up and the fucking. No, that's not how we're ending this.
わからないの。なぜ勇士があなたを今日ここに呼んだのか。なぜ今日でなくてはいけなかったのか。
Taste steel, motherfucker! Michiaki's eyebrows twitch ever so slightly. A moment later, with an expression caught halfway between an angry scowl and an amused smile, he answers.
今日。そうか。やはりお前たちがやったのか。
そうよ。東浜ホールディングスの臨時株主総会。社長の解任動議が今日可決されれば、あなたは社長の座を失う。私を傀儡にして達成するはずの野望も、ここで完全についえることになるわ。
Oh, I can't wait to see that happen. It'll feel so fucking good. Michiaki listens to his daughter's words expressionlessly. There's no anger, no surprise, no scorn or fear. His face is simply blank, and somehow that indifference is more intimidating than any emotion could have been. Finally, a dry rattling cackle emerges from his throat.
何がおかしいの?
Oh, is our plan about to fuck up?
いいぞ、いいぞ、ユミコ。
Oh.
そうして社会のお勉強をするのか。これからの仕事に役立つな。いや、まさか自ら勉強してくれるとはな。
Good, good. Embrace the dark side.
Clasping his hands together with easy confidence, Michiaki responds as if genuinely pleased by the situation. There isn't even the slightest hint of anxiety in his cold, amused eyes.
まだそんな強がりを言うつもりなの？現実を見てからそんなふざけたことを。
強がり？そういうのはきちんと情勢を確認してから言うんだな。お前の方こそ現実を見た方がいいんじゃないのか。
Oh no. Yumiko turns around once more. Sachi is just lowering a cell phone from her ear. Oh no, her face a ghastly shade of white.
あまねさんから今連絡が入りました。
The normally unflappable girl's voice shakes with disbelief.
賛成の動議に誰も立ち上がらないそうです。
The fuck, Blizzard? I thought we had this all planned.
そんな。
I thought we had it planned. This is bullshit.
嘘でしょ？賛成するって言ってたはずなのに。
Wow, we were the ones that got fucked. You know, I shouldn't even be surprised.
口裏を合わせたかのように静まり返っているのよさ。これってダメなんでしょ？解任に賛成させなきゃいけないんでしょ？今すぐ連絡とかできないの？あまね。ダメよ。私らが直接この人たちに言ったわけじゃないもの。すごく面倒なルートを通しての約束だから、話をするにしてもまたそのルートを通さないといけないわ。じゃあこのまま黙って見ていろって言うの？
That's basically all we can do at this point.
どうしようもないのよさ。
I'm salty.
そんな。
Maybe I chose the bad ending after all, man. Shit, man.
お前たちがあの市ヶ谷の女あたりと企んで反対派を動かしていたことぐらいは知っていたよ。まあ子供の革命ごっこがどこまで通じるのか興味半分で見ていたが、思った以上に勉強していたようで驚いたよ。 更生してきちんとした学校を出れば使ってやらんこともないぞ。
God, I hate him so much. And people still defend that man, by the way. People still defend him in the comments. As Yumiko bites down on her lip in frustration, Michiaki takes another step forward, his stride even larger and bolder than before.
さあ、今度こそ本当に終わりだ。私の人形になる覚悟を決めろ、ユミコ。
Wow. Wow. Fuck this guy. No, don't falter, Yumiko. It's fine. We got this.
覚悟を決めるのなら、そうだな。そこにいる軍人上がりのガキも性欲処理用として飼うのを許してやらんでもないぞ。
Do you wanna die? I bet I got something up my sleeve. Just you fucking wait.
まあ、その代わりに人間としての尊厳は極限までそぎ落とすがな。
I don't have any of that anyway, so fuck you.
そんなの許せるわけが。
Well, Yumiko is still mounting her best attempt at resistance, but the momentum has shifted entirely in the favor of her father. Ooh, his face placid and composed, Michiaki takes another step forward. And this time his cruel eyes flick over in my direction.
おい、軍人上がり。そこに突っ立ってないで。お前も何か言ったらどうなんだ。
I feel like I'm quiet because I got something up my sleeve. That's what I'm just thinking. His tone of voice is light, teasing.
女にばかり前に立たせて喋らせるとは情けないにも程があるだろう。
She's a strong woman. She's stronger than me. So fuck you. In strong contrast to her father's composure, Yumiko's voice twists with sorrow and fear. Without particularly reacting to either of them, I cock my head to the side and furrow my brow. That's funny. Do I hear a phone? I knew it. I knew he had something else up his sleeve. Michiaki grimaces so sourly in evident disappointment.
なんだと？別に構わん。出るがいい。どうせすぐに電話など取り上げ。
Wrong. Does sound like a phone ringing, but it's not mine. Somebody else must be getting a call.
何を一体言っているんだ。
The man clearly seems to think this somewhat less than important right now. For the first time, I met his gaze with a powerful glare of my own. You still don't understand. It's your phone, with a very important call.
私のだと。
Dubiously, Michiaki reaches up for the pocket of his suit. The instant his hand touches the softly buzzing cell phone, his bemused expression changes to one of pure surprise.
なぜ貴様に分かった？
Oh my god. Not important. You should probably just answer right away. Take a look at who's calling.
なんだと？こんな時にどこの誰が？
Mustering complaints to himself, Michiaki glances down at the screen. His face stiffens immediately.
村松国土交通大臣からだと。
He hurriedly presses the answer button, his attention now focused solely on the phone. The rest of us no longer seem to even register. Damn, that phone's been ringing for a long time.
もしもし、村松大臣ですか？榊です。榊でございます。やっと出てくれましたか、榊さん。
Yup. I've been on this damn phone.
申し訳ございません。ちょうど今お話ししておりました総会の最中でして。その総会のことで連絡があってね。手短に言うよ。はあ。事情が変わってね。君を支援することはできなくなった。すまないが、潔く社長の座を降りてくれたまえ。
Ooh, annihilated.
まあ、心配しなくとも、 相応の名誉職ぐらいは用意しておくから、それで納得するんだな。そんな、どういうことですか、大臣。あんたも面倒な部分に触れたもんだ。同情するよ。大臣、待ってください。どういうことですか、大臣。
Wrecked.
あまねさん。はい。解任賛成が。はい、わかりました。伝えます。風見さん、今あまねさんから連絡があって、社長の解任動議が可決されたと。
Oh, trust me. We already knew.
様子見だった企業も次々と解任賛成に回り、最終的に8割の票を集めたそうです。
80%! Holy shit! I nod casually to acknowledge Sachi's report. Thank you, Sachi. Thought as much. Just how JB told me it would play out. Entirely on the other end of the emotional spectrum, Sakaki Michiaki stands before me just in a stunned, furious disbelief. It's hard to believe he's the same man who was so full of confidence before that phone rang. Squeezing his cell phone with his quivering hand, he glares at me with an expression full of undisguised wrath.
お前ら、なぜだ。どうしてそんな。
You got played, loser. Reminds me of Yumiko's reaction when I brought her here yesterday. The man simply can't process the situation he's found himself in. I'll explain. Stepping out protectively in front of Yumiko, I approach her trembling father. It's just as you said. No matter how much a group of children struggle, it's fundamentally ridiculous to imagine they could stage a large-scale corporate conflict. Convincing the opposition to move would have been nearly impossible unless people holding genuine power were leading the charge. However, there was one lever which could undoubtedly move even those deeply cautious men. An organization possessing tremendous influence, and the largest stockholder in the East Beach Group. Once JB obtained a route to them through a certain connection of hers, our victory was all but assured. They were the focus of our attention from the very start, but as I'm sure you know, it never hurts to be doubly cautious in this sort of thing. That's why we attacked the problem from so many angles over the last year. After all, we were up against Sakaki Michiaki. If we spent all our time messing with the Ministry of Infrastructure, I expected you'd catch on and devise a counter-strategy. JB's connection had overwhelming influence over the Ministry, but Michiaki might still have managed to turn the tables on us if our movements were exposed in the early stages. We needed to set the wheels in motion without tipping him off to our real plans until the very last moment. That was the primary objective of all our other movements. Therefore, we started building ourselves a pseudo-majority, knowing full well it would fall apart in the end. We let you see a bunch of children sniffing around, give you a nice easy target to undermine.
反対派と妙な動きをしていたのはフェイクだったということか。
Exactly.
そんな。
Michiaki's cell phone clatters to the ground. His head slumps over sagging shoulders. The arrogance from a few minutes ago had vanished without the slightest trace.
終わりか。こんなにあっけなく。しかもこんなガキどもに。人生を賭して、すべてを捨てて。それが。
Well, maybe if he wasn't such a terrible fucking person. Muttering reproachful words to no one in particular, he drags himself back to his car and climbs slowly inside. The black-suited men surrounding the area, perhaps sensing their employer's defeat, hurriedly begin to withdraw. With the roar of a dozen engines, clouds of dust from many tires fill the air, as if to mark the conclusion of our battle. We fucking did it! Woo! Amine bursts out of the door moments later. Makina and Michiru follow in her wake, their faces overflowing with joy.
サッチンから聞いたぞ。お兄ちゃんは全部わかってたんだってな。
Oh, I had it all planned out. So yeah, sorry for startling you there.
もうびっくりしたわよ。最初からそういう仕込みだったなら言っておいてくれればよかったのに。
はい、私も連絡を受けた時は寿命が縮む思いでした。
Yeah, but did you gain those years of your life back after I did my thing?
あんたが言うぐらいだから相当なもんよね、サチ。
ともかくこれで晴れて榊さんは自由の身なのよね、ユージ。
Well, you're certainly not going to be trying to get her to take over the presidency. Yeah, sorry about that drama, Yumi. Just like the others, Yumiko's face is filled with relief at our come from behind victory. Or so I'd imagine. But when I turn around, I find something else entirely. Yumiko? Yumiko's turned her head in a different direction from the rest of us. No less still and quiet than before, she's gazing far off into the distance. Think you guys can head back inside for us? Before us, rather? I turn to our friends, who nod quickly and return to the dorm. After watching them all enter the building, I fix my eyes on Yumiko once more. I can't believe it. Her face is fixed in the direction that group of cars disappeared. The eyes of Sakaki Michiaki's only daughter are quietly gazing after the man who stayed her bitter enemy until the very end. Yumiko? I call out her name once more, but Yumiko doesn't move, and her expression doesn't change. She's not crying. Doesn't look like she's grieving. Her face is simply lonely. Oh. The clouds of dust that had been dancing through the air eventually fade away as the wind carries them out to sea. The familiar campus has returned to a familiar state, and still Yumiko stands rooted to the spot. As I watch her from behind, I hear the cry of a kite overhead like a shrill note on a flute. The small black bird of prey glides serenely past us, making its way to the ocean, just like the one I saw on the rooftop of this dorm once. It's a painfully normal summer scene, almost as if someone's trying to remind us of how small our struggles are, how insignificant our hatreds. Whoa. Space Marines? Hello? No matter how much power you hold, no matter how wise and widely respected you may be, there's one force you're completely powerless to resist. No one in the world's capable of stopping the flow of time. That's true. True, spend enough money and you can eventually prolong your life a little. But that's hardly the same as stopping or reversing the relentless march of the years. Back in the old days, there were rulers who thought systems of hereditary inheritance could grant them dominion over time. But open just about any history book and you'll find plenty of proof that there was just another way of struggling in vain against the inevitable. Strict codes of law, beautiful writings, wise teachings, all these too eventually fade away. Still, there are always people who struggle against the oppressive rule, studying the failures of those who went before and seeking immortality through lines or deeds. And there are some who live ephemerally in the moment, ignoring the current of time entirely. Perhaps that's a valid means of escape in its own right. But no matter what approach we take, we're all fighting a losing battle. Some few among the most determined and brilliant may manage to build a milestone, but compared to the vast and unending road itself, such monuments aren't particularly significant. Time's an absolute tyrant. Everyone's powerless to resist its might. However, if you look at the matter from another angle, time's also our supreme problem solver, the ultimate healer of wounds. Given enough time, a Gordian knot too tangled for human hands to undo will naturally slip apart and return to its original form. Through the passing of years, a hardened clump of stone that won't dissolve under water or melt in fire will disintegrate all on its own. Time doesn't rule through fear alone. Like all that's truly absolute, it exerts its power indefinitely over good and bad alike. Hello? I don't know why I'm running. Running my usual morning course, I breathe in and out at my usual steady rhythm. There's no hesitation in my movements. I could run this route in my sleep by now. I'm not bothering to measure or anything. But my heartbeat and calorie burn are probably exactly the same as they were yesterday. From a long-term perspective, it'll probably only be a few more years before my current peak physical condition gives way to a slow, gradual curve of decline. But looking back over the last few years, my specs have stayed exceptionally consistent. I've never been negligent in keeping myself ready for emergencies of any kind. My master really beat that lesson in me, I guess. Running comes so naturally to me now that it's very easy to detach my mind from the movements of my body. I often find myself thinking over all sorts of things. My master was a great believer in staying on your toes, preparing for the extraordinary in the most extraordinary of times. Always think ahead. Always stay prepared. Always follow your routine. In the course of my monotonous daily training, there were times when everything seemed so calm that I couldn't help doubting the importance of all that. But I've been plunged abruptly into crisis often enough to recognize that peace-addled complacency for what it is. Even just over the last year, this sort of readiness proved immeasurably important. Still, I'd really like things to stay relatively peaceful for a while. Trying to drive a subtle shadow of unease from my mind, I focused on carrying out my comfortably familiar peacetime training. The late summer sun creeps into the sky, gradually warming the earth below. Fucking nice. It's been 2 months since we returned to this place, and in reality, nothing too dramatic has happened in that time. Even compared to the peaceful time I spent here before, nothing's really... Well, no, I suppose there have been a few minor changes to the previous routine. Hello, I'm back. For one thing, I've started consistently saying this phrase immediately after returning to the dorm. There were occasions when I said those words before, but it was a pretty uncommon event, reserved for when somebody happened to be in the lobby when I opened the door.
おかえりなさい、ユージ。
Oh my god, she's... But now I've got a reason to announce my return every single time. Namely, there's always a certain someone here to say those words to. Sorry about slipping out. I was a little worried you might not be getting enough sleep, waking up at the same hour as me.
あなたと一緒に寝起きしているんだから、そうでもないわよ。はい、タオル。
It's like we get the same amount of sleep, right? Thanks. Taking the towel from Yumiko, I roughly scrubbed the sweat off my face. Whew! And when I look up again... Oh... An attractive young woman standing very close to me with a distinctful, wistful expression on her face. Slightly exasperated, I heave a quiet sigh. Look, Yumiko, I think we've been over this before.
いや、わかってるから。
Waving her hands in the air, she interrupts my earnest warning in a flustered tone of voice.
ここは公共の場だから、そういうのは部屋に戻ってからにしないかって。そうよね。
That's right. Glad to see you got the message after all.
だからその軽く抱きしめるだけで今は我慢するから。
Oh, come... Oh, look, woman. Is this seriously the same person who used to swing a box cutter at me every time? Every time we saw each other? Turning her blushing face slightly away, she flutters brief glances in my direction. Don't think I'll say this to the girl herself, but it's not far from the sort of come hither you'd expect from pros in the red light district. I mean, yes, I do understand this is the product of sincere affection, but seriously, when a girl's this blatant about it, it's hard not to get suspicious. Something Machina told me once came to mind. To wit, women of the Kudere tribe are a pain in the ass. They're not used to showing affection, so once they do go sweet, they'll give everyone in a 3-mile radius cavities. Yup, that's exactly it. Oh, that said, giving her the cold shoulder would just be making more trouble for myself in the long run. Just yesterday, I tried brushing off Yumiko's excessive demands for public displays of affection. She retaliated with hours of sulky, reproachful glaring. Still falls well into the cute category, but the effort involved into soothing her feathers after the fact only amplifies the pain in the ass factor. And so I decided to give in to her demands like the hopeless sap I am. Fine, here we go. So you get a hug. Pulling Yumiko over to me, I embrace her lightly at arm's length. I did wipe myself down a little bit with the towel, but I'm still just back from exercise and can't really go in for a bear hug.
Yuji.
Woman? And as if to say to hell with your thoughtfulness, the woman drives forward and nuzzles her pretty face against my chest, already in heat first thing in the damn morning. I think you're aware, but I kind of stink right now. Don't cling to me like that. I don't think it matters.
いいな、ユージの匂い。男って感じがすごくする。
If your past self could see you now, she'd probably break down in tears.
そうかしら。むしろ昔の私は幸せすぎて泣くんじゃないかしら。動いちゃダメ。じっとしてて。
Honestly. Oh, whoa, whoa. Hey, Yumiko.
なに？
Jesus. Charming as it is to watch you get drunk off my body, I think it's time for you to back off now.
何よ。もうちょっと堪能させなさいよ。いつ触っても飽きないな。この熱い胸板。これが毎日私を押しつぶして。
I mean, yes, I am always. You are, words. Well, I don't personally mind if you want to continue grunting in satisfaction while fondling my pecs, but I'd recommend taking a look behind you first. Uh-oh.
いいな、ユージの匂い。
Don't tease her.
いやー、人間長く生きてみるものね。こんな光景を毎日見ることになるなんて少しも想像できなかったわよ。
I know, it's pretty great, isn't it? I never thought I'd see the day.
人間の無限の可能性を感じるのはみちる様だけではなかったのですね。この小峰幸、毎日が発見の連続です。
I just can't wait for what Machina's gonna say. Machina trots energetically up to Yumiko, currently frozen solid. The intensity of her grin is genuinely unpleasant.
お兄ちゃんの裸を思い出して燃え上がっちゃったんだよな。でも朝からこういうことしてると夜の生活バレバレだからやめとけ。な。
That is exactly what I figured she would fucking say. Thumping Yumiko's shoulders in a companionable way, she barrages her with merciless words. Oh, she's dead. The young woman in question, her hand still frozen pitifully in the air where my chest had been, looks around the lobby like a high school drama student doing their best imitation of a robot.
ああ、朝から脂っこいの見ちゃったせいで胸焼けしたわ。戻ろう戻ろう。
そうですね。榊さん、どうもごちそうさまでした。
Thanks for the most adorable thing we'll ever see today.
ユミコ、最低限の人間の尊厳は保つようにしなさいよね。
She usually does, just today's different.
このままいけばロビーセックスも十分にありえるのよさ。
Oh, it's gonna happen, Machina, and you'll probably walk in and be like, because dirty old man, you know. One by one, the others give the statue-stiff Yumiko a friendly slap on the shoulders, then saunter off mocking her. There's some real affection underneath those wry smiles, but also undeniably a good deal of exasperation mixed in as well. Hey, Yumiko, you feeling all right? And thus she died. I'm gonna take that as a bit of a no. Yumiko, stunned speechless, lets out an astonished grunting moan as of the sort I'd usually expect from Michiru. We've actually had more than a few incidents like this over the last few months, but today was exceptionally bad. Well, I tried to warn her. Maybe that will be a bit of a lesson to the girl. Can only pray she'll finally cut down the public dare somewhat. To Yumiko. Hello. I'm going back to the room now, alright? Shaking my head with a smile, I head back to my room. She's just fucking frozen there. By manipulating the Minister of Land, Transport, and Infrastructure, we succeeded in removing Sakaki Michiaki from his role at the top of the East Beach Group, putting an end to his pursuit of Yumiko. The director we successfully raised up as an opposing power, essentially a puppet of the government, has already discontinued Michiaki's aggressive strategy of expansion in favor of a much more stable and low-risk style of management. The East Beach Group had shed its image as the Sakaki's family's personal empire. With surprising speed, it's being reformed into a very different kind of enterprise. Someday people probably won't even remember that they were once mocked as bandits. As for Mahama Academy, it's going to be closing its doors. Oh. There were potential PR issues because of its connection to Michiaki's struggle with his daughter, and on a purely practical level, the new management took issue with the lavish, inefficient spending that defined Mahama's administration. They did explore restoring it as a more conventional school, but given the location and circumstances, it was estimated that attracting a sufficiently large student body would prove difficult. In the end, the project was simply abandoned. Then again, from beginning to end, the school never had more than just 6 students. Putting aside the facilities and funding, once that framework changed, Mahama would still have stopped being what it was. Yep. In exchange for the academy's closure, the dormitory was allowed to remain open in a different form. Oh. Without a school attached, it's become a simple apartment building. They entrusted the management to the former students for the time being, enabling us to continue our lives virtually the same as before. Everyone's using this place as a launch pad for the next stage of their lives. Amne will apparently be leaving out to help out her family's traditional restaurant with Makina once their preparations are in order. Aw, Makina's going too. Sachi and Michiru are going to be transferring together to a boarding school, the principal recommended. However, even if we all ended up leaving this place behind, we've made plans to periodically meet up again. The 6 of us may have been born in different places, but in a way, we all feel as if we grew up here. Although we've regained our familiar daily life, little by little things are starting to change, and Yumiko's certainly no exception. After dramatically transforming her world, she's trying to adapt herself to a whole new routine. Hello? Thanks for helping with breakfast.
Hi, どうぞ.
Yes. Eating my meals around this table with Yumiko already feels completely natural. Today we've got grilled salmon, and boiled greens in soy sauce that I made, and soup and rice courtesy of Yumiko. Yeah, looks like you've gotten the hang of miso soup now. You're working on it.
本当?
Why would I lie now? It's really good.
よかった。嬉しい。
Her eyes are full of relief. Yumiko favors me with a sincere smile. Since we started living together in my room, the girls gradually eased her way into cooking. At first, she was burning pans more often than cooking food, but under the strict tutelage of Madame Suo Amane, she's finally learned how to make miso and other simple soups. You're learning boiled food next, right? Amane was pretty enthusiastic. Sounds like she enjoys teaching you. Of course.
あまねの指導ってちょっと怖いのよね。何か体があるような気がしてならないわ。
Nah, I'm sure it's fine. Well, the two of them have finally gotten friendly enough to use each other's first names, so I guess that lingering tinge of jealousy isn't anything to be worried about. Hamane's probably just playing around for the most part, but since I'm clearly part of the issue, I can't exactly stick my head in either way. Seeking a change of subject, I reach out for my rice bowl. Looks like you got rice just right too. When I look across the table again to praise Yumiko, I find her chopsticks paused heavily in midair. What's wrong? You're not eating. I call out to her again. She starts a little, then smiles. Morning light flows in softly through the window. The faint touch of sun on her skin makes Yumiko smile, even almost eerily gentle.
なんだか今でも信じられない。こうしてみんなと楽しく生活して、ユージとも一緒に暮らせるなんて、昔だったら絶対にありえなかった。
This is literally the everything came up Millhouse ending. Before, Yumiko was always alone. The girl absolutely didn't choose that solitude. She always longed to have someone at her side, and many times she tried to convince herself there would be. Those hopes were betrayed again and again. Yumiko plunged into despair, gave up on connecting with others, and hid herself from the world. But after she came to this dorm, her walls slowly began to crumble.
小さい頃、あんなに人が怖くて、もう関わることなんてやめようって思ってたのに。
I even lashed out with a box cutter at some girl. Yumiko warmed up to our classmates. She fell in love with me, and her solitude finally came to an end. Considering the way she used to be, it's not surprising she'd find all this a little hard to believe.
ありがとう、ユージ。
There we go. Yeah, I'm happy for you, Yumiko. That smile's coming from the heart. Yumiko looks genuinely content, like someone who's gotten everything they've ever wanted. Damn right. But when the girl talks about how happy she is, sometimes I could see the very slight shadow fall across her face. And although it's just speculation on my part, I think I know why. Oh? Through our traps, Kaki Michiaki lost everything he'd built in a single day. Tripped up by the the willful daughter he had wanted to manipulate like a puppet, the man vanished in defeat. The supremely arrogant emperor who stepped out of the car that day left a crushed and broken man. Those deeply contrasting images are still crystal clear in my memory. And for Yumiko, his daughter, that moment must have left a far stronger impression. There wasn't just hatred in her eyes as she quietly watched her father disappear. I'm sure many complex emotions were running through her mind. Oh? Following that incident, Kaki Michiaki essentially abandoned both his personal and professional life. The mass media he'd previously muzzled through force briefly latched onto the dramatic overthrown tyrant short storyline. But in time, their interest died out. By now, the man's already becoming part of the past. Michiaki's still got nearly 10% stake in the group, along with a new honorary position, so he shouldn't exactly be starving. Still, he's been lying low to the point that it's almost unsettling. Sometimes I can't help wondering if he's just lurking in the shadows somewhere, steadily plotting revenge and working toward a comeback. But that hypothesis doesn't really stand up to scrutiny. I couldn't see any hint of a spirit in that hollowed-out shell of a man who climbed back into his car that day. And judging from the way she watched him go, Yumiko probably sensed something similar. Well, good, he deserved it. Her father had been the focus of all her hatred for years. He was the ruthless creature who chained her down. But underneath his armor, he was just one incredibly frail human being, every bit as weak as Yumiko herself once was. Watching her father stripped naked and chased from his place in the world, the girl no doubt felt a painful twinge of recognition and empathy. To survive, to carve out her own place in the world, there was no choice but to overthrow him. But that doesn't mean it left an entirely pleasant taste in her mouth. Yumiko? Again, there's a slight hint of listlessness in her expression. Even when Yumiko's acting cheerful, I can't help picking out these slight signs of fraying at the seams. You keep stopping your chopsticks.
大丈夫。何でもないわ。
I've been refraining from asking Yumiko about this. She obviously hasn't even begun to sort out her own feelings yet. It'd just be cruel to make her dwell on it even further. Alright, I know what you're thinking about. I know. Oh, whoa, okay. Moving smoothly around the table, I push her down to the floor. We got interrupted halfway through, didn't we? Maybe you wanted something like this?
そんな。そうでもあるけど。
so I cover it up with a white lie. And Yumiko, for her part, accepts that lie.
ダメよ。急にそんな。まだこんなに明るいのに。
There's gonna be more. Her words are hesitant, but her fingers twine through mine. As if to request the next step, her entire palm squirms coitishly in my grasp. Your hands seem to have a different opinion. I'm not sure who to believe.
もう意地悪言わないで。
Seems she wasn't really rejecting me. I leaned down and pressed my lips against hers. Pretending not to notice the wounds on each other's backs, we run our hands across the undamaged surface alone, seeking comfort. I know we'll have to treat those wounds eventually, but right now, we need time. We need this. Yumiko hasn't had real peace for practically her entire life. At the very least, I want to give her a chance to think. Oh, suddenly, shrill electronic music fills the air. It's not music! We stop and smile wryly at each other.
ごめんね。ちょっと待って。
With one more brief peck on my lips, Yumiko pulls herself out from under me. Oh, I thought it was me. She flips open her bleeding cell phone and glances at the screen.
弁護士さんだわ。
Ah, crap. After letting me know that, she picks herself up off the floor and presses the answer button.
はい、もしもし。はい、先日はありがとうございました。
Yumiko recently hired a lawyer to sort out through the legal issues involved with our situation. He's also helping make arrangements for managing the Sakaki family's property now that Michiaki's all but fallen off the face of the earth. The family affairs are understandably chaotic at the moment, so it's a lot for Yumiko to handle on her own. Still, she's been diligently negotiating, selling off what needs to be sold, and trying to keep things from falling apart. I assume this phone call's another update on their progress. But the peaceful conversation I was expecting changes dramatically with a small cry of surprise from Yumiko. It's not just the tone of her voice. The calm look of her face gives way to a more grim and severe expression. More than just a little concerned, I pick myself up off the ground and watch.
はい。はい、わかりました。では明日いらした時に詳しく。はい。
After hanging up the phone, Yumiko gazes down at the screen in disbelief, not speaking a word. Did, something happen? This time I find myself unable to bite my tongue. Yumiko, her face still blank with shock, finally turns to face me.
あの人が。
Uh-oh. That man. There's nothing in that phrase to suggest Yumiko's talking about a relative, but there's only one person she refers to that way.
あの人が。 私にすべて譲渡したそうよ。
Oh. Well then. Everything? Confusion in her eyes, Yumiko nods shortly.
あの人の持っていたすべての株式を私に譲渡したって。
Oh. Shit, man. Sakaki Michiaki did. Yumiko doesn't respond. She just gazes intently down at her phone, complex emotions flitting across her face, almost as if the man in question was standing in front of her. It's the same expression that was on her face 2 months ago as she watched her father disappear, an expression of loneliness, anger, and profound sorrow. Oh my god. Everything? Everything? What you mean, everything? The muted murmur of a television echoes through the spacious room. There's no other sound to be heard. Half submerged in a plush sofa, I abruptly open my eyes at the sound of a voice on the television. It's a very familiar voice, one I've been hearing on a daily basis for a long time now. Shit, must have nodded off halfway through. I move my eyes back to the enormous LCD screen mounted on the wall. Yumiko, wearing a tailored professional suit and a resolute expression, listens carefully to her interviewer's question and offers a precise response. That was a pretty nostalgic dream just now. Maybe it's because I spoke with Amane on the phone the other day, but I dreamed of our time at Mihama Academy. I find my mind running back over the events that turned Yumiko into the public figure she is today. When Sakaki Michiaki transferred all his stock in the East Beach group to her, Yumiko thought long and hard about what to do with it all. She even considered selling the entire stake and donating the proceeds to charity. Oh, it was in some sense tainted money, and more importantly, slightly less than 10% of that company still amounted to an astronomical sum of money. Yumiko wanted to live a peaceful life on her own terms, and she knew that kind of money would change everything. But after much agonizing, she ultimately decided to accept it. And then, while using her newfound wealth to attend a top-flight university, she started up her own company, one that's proven widely successful. Right now, it's becoming increasingly frequent for her to appear in the media as an exemplary young entrepreneur. What does she do? As to why Yumiko voluntarily entered the same corporate world that tied her down for so long, I never asked her point blank. But I do have the feeling it's got to do something with the open wound she's been ignoring for the last 3 years. Probably the same reason she didn't sell off this house. Despite all the bad memories it must hold for her, we're living here together now. Jesus. I guess there comes a point when avoidance doesn't make your scars ache any less. My other, oh no, cell phone begins to ring for the first time in 3 years. After carefully confirming the name on the caller ID screen, I hit the answer button. Hey, it's been a while. 3 years. There's a moment of silence, but in that time, many unspoken words passed between us. Although I was officially reprimanded after the incident 3 years ago, a certain influential force in Ichigaya's upper echelon shielded me from more serious charges and arranged for my reinstatement on the reserve. That said, I was no longer interested in returning to my previous workplace, as supporting Yumiko had become my first and foremost priority. I took my chance to formally resign. Naturally, this led to an estrangement from JB. I still got that cell phone, though. There was one and only thing that I'd ask of her at the end. It was a job better suited to a detective agency than a professional of her caliber, but I asked anyway, fully aware of my selfishness. JB accepted that strange request without particular comment. I didn't ask why, but it felt as though she wanted to tie up some loose ends herself.
3年前に頼まれてた最後のお願いについて分かったことがあるわ。
I already knew the reason she was making this phone call. It has to mean she's found some sort of answer to that odd request I made of her. There's no longer any other reason for JB to contact me. I see. Thank you, Julia.
言っておくけど、あまりいい結果は期待できないかもよ。
I think we need a happy ending. It's alright. We need a happy ending, but we might... you might not be in it. Or in for it, rather. It's alright. I still want to know.
分かったわ。
I mechanically jot down JB's indifferent words in a notepad that was lying nearby. As the trees outside sway in the wind, a muted sound of rustling foliage carries through the otherwise silent room. After ending the call with JB, I tuck the black cell phone away and take the one out I normally use. The call history is filled almost entirely with a single number. Clicking on it, I bring the phone to my ear. Okay. Hello? I just keep teleporting all over the place.
珍しいのね。ユージの方から外に出ようだなんて。
Yumiko and I walk leisurely down the road leading to the station. She's got a lot on her plate right now, but the moment I called, she managed to open her schedule. I hope so. Yeah, there's something I wanted to talk about. Sorry about dragging you out here.
ユージとこうやって出かけること自体が久しぶりだし、全く構わないわよ。
She sounds so fucking happy. It's great. Yumiko smiles happily. I haven't told her the real reason for this outing yet. That was a deliberate decision. I didn't want it to be weighing on her mind from the very start.
今日はどこに行くの？
It's a slightly far off place, actually.
え？にしてはすごく軽装で出てきたけど。
True, now that you mention it. Yumiko glances over at me with a puzzled expression. This vague riddle-like conversation continues as we climb the stairs to our local train station. Alright. Changing trains after a few stops, we make our way out of central Tokyo and head to the south part of the Kanto region. Colorful port cities flash by outside the windows. Eventually, these give way to peaceful-looking little valley towns. As vivid shades of green start to dominate the scenery, Yumiko grows progressively quieter. The train's heading straight for that place. We wouldn't be going there without good reason. Yumiko's no doubt starting to realize this won't be a light-hearted outing she'd expected. Our destination lies in the town where Yumiko spent the loneliest years of her childhood. Oh. By the time we're standing before the building itself, her expression's painfully tense. Oh.
Yuji, どういうことなの?
Don't do this to me right now, game. It's almost the end. It's a large general hospital at the outskirts of a sleepy country town. A hospital the two of us have visited several times together. But there should be no longer any reason for us to come here.
もうお母さんもいないのに。
Yumiko's mother, Sakaki Misako, quietly passed away 2 years ago. After the usual formalities with her relatives, Yumiko told me she'd never be setting foot in this town again. There were too many sad memories in this place. Just being here was painful for her. I know it's hard coming back here, but there's something we can't talk about anywhere else.
ここでないとできない話?
Okay. Yeah. Oh. We proceed slowly through the familiar hallways. After climbing the stairs, we make our way toward a private room in the very back, then come to a halt in front of the door. There's a certain person who's been visiting this place virtually every week since your mother's death.
ここへ?
Oh. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yumiko casts her eyes down, pursing her lips slightly. Looks as though a name's come to mind. I don't know why any more than you do, but it's a fact. That person's been coming here for years and begging the hospital staff not to breathe a word of those visits to anyone.
私たちに知られたくないから.
I silently nod. I know it'd be tough for you to meet him face to face all of a sudden, Yumiko. I'm planning to go in there and ask why he's doing this. Do you think you can wait outside and listen? Oh? We can head back home now, if that's what you want. I'll promise you never to bring that person up again. But if there's still a bad taste lingering in your mouth, instead of trying to forget the past, how about we look for a way to accept it? Her eyes still turned down toward the floor, Yumiko mutters quietly.
ユージはもうずっと前に気づいていたのね。私があのことをまだ引きずっていることに。
Yeah. Sorry for not saying anything until now.
いいの。
There must be countless memories running through Yumiko's head right now. Her empty childhood, the faint hope she found only to have it snatched away, the man who took everything away, her crushing solitude, the artificial cage where her heart slowly began to thaw, her first act of real resistance, our escape, at the end of a long struggle, a confrontation with everything on the line, and the former usurper who had everything taken away from him. What does his daughter feel for him now? Hatred? Something else entirely? I can practically see the tangled ball of conflicted emotions wriggling inside of her mind. Eventually, Yumiko raises her head. Her expression's firm and determined.
私、聞くわ。ここで待ってる。
Oh, I see. All right, then. Nodding to Yumiko, I step forward and slowly open the door to the hospital room. With the heavy sound of wood sliding across the floor, sunshine from the far window floods out into the hallway. Oh boy. I'm coming in. It's a hospital room with no occupant, dominated by an empty bed. The strong smell of the sun-faded old curtains overpowers the lingering scent of disinfectant still lingering in the air. At the side of the bed, a single man sitting in a folding chair, hands folded in front of him. Yep.
予定通りだな。さすがは軍人だけあって時間に正確だ。
Well, I'm not in that line of work anymore, but time passes quickly. Best to use it efficiently, wouldn't you say?
その通りだ。時間はすぐに過ぎる。
Sakaki Michiaki smiles stiffly as the words leave his mouth. His face, carved with wrinkles, looks like that much of an older man.
3年ぶりか。もっとも、君の顔など、あまり覚えてはいないがね。
I remember yours very clearly. Seems to have changed pretty dramatically.
生きがいのなくなった人間など、所詮はこのようなものだ。血と肉の入れ物はあっても、それを動かす意志が空っぽでは、ただ細々と物を食い排泄するだけのゴミでしかない。
His eyes, once gleaming with ravenous ambition, are dull and sunken. His mouth droops slackly it's as if his face can no longer sport its own weight. There's not even a hint of power and intensity that once defined this man. The last 3 years must have been a period of increasingly rapid decline. Sorrow seems to ooze from every pore of his body.
そんな私をここに呼んで何をしようというんだね。
Michiaki's voice, full of self-ridicule, implies a question, here to laugh at a fallen man. I wanted to ask you something. What was driving you 3 years ago? No. What drove you for your entire adult life? Where did that ambition and greed come from? I couldn't help feeling you were lost somehow. That you might have regretted the path you took, and that's why I've dragged you out here. So I could stick my nose into your business. Michiaki nods to this with a snort of amusement.
こんな非道な男にそんなことを聞いても無駄だろう。君の期待するような言葉など私が言うことはない。私から全てを奪った贖罪のつもりでそんな自己弁護を考えたのかもしれんが、シナリオとしては三流だな。出直してくるがいい。
Tell me, why have you been retracing the footsteps of your wife and child?
どうしてそれを？
I had my superior do a little digging. You've been sighted in the vicinity of this hospital, the apartments Yumiko and I rented while we were on the run, and even your wife's family home. My final request of JB was an investigation into Sakaki Michiaki's current whereabouts and activities since his fall from power. Michiaki spent the last few years visiting every place his wife and daughter once lived, as if to vicariously experience their journey. And he did his best to keep us in the dark about it, even disguising himself and using false names. Only a person who regrets their past would do something like that. If you'd really thrown everything aside, you wouldn't go out of your way to visit places with a connection to your family. That's why I finally decided to ask, was that life really what you wanted? Or were you just chained to it by something beyond your control? I had a feeling knowing the answer might be better than letting it all fade away miserably into the past. Michiaki heaves a heavy sigh. His sunken eyes gaze at the floor for a long moment before slowly returning up to me. There's a surprisingly gentle smile on his face. It's the resigned expression of a beaten man.
君の上司は最後まで私の気に入らないことをするのだな。
Nope, she gives trouble for everyone. Well, blame me for this one. I'm the one who asked her.
妙なことをするものだ。おせっかいにも程があるぞ。
Michiaki, who had been leaning forward in his chair like a stooped old man, abruptly reclines as if to stretch his back. His face pointed at the ceiling, he lets out a long sigh.
私が父から最初に帝王学を教わったのは何歳の時かわかるかね？
No.
9歳だよ。遊びたい盛りの子供にあの人はいきなり社会と金の話をしてきたんだ。
Throughout Michiaki's childhood, there was a constantly rotating cast of women at his father's Kojiru's side. The women came and went one after the other, each calling herself his mother, offering him various forms of distorted love. Some were affectionate to him in the shallow way of a child playing with his favorite toy. Others were openly hostile, even abusive. But however they treated him, his father showed no interest whatsoever. On the other hand, Sakaki Kojiro was abnormally intrusive when it came to his son's studies and friendships. Perhaps it was because he had once failed the Tokyo Imperial University examination himself, but he demanded superlative academic results from Michiaki, insisting he would tolerate nothing less than admission to a renowned national university. Any friends his son made at school were thoroughly investigated by detective agencies. Jesus. When Michiaki failed to produce superb results or showed the slightest signs of disobedience, his father would respond with violence. Oh.
家が怖かった。学校から戻ることが苦痛で仕方なかった。
Despite desperate to escape his terror, Michiaki threw himself into his studies, ultimately passing the entrance exam from the nation's most prestigious university. This success extended to his personal life, as he obediently acquainted himself with the gaudiest tiers of high society. The more Michiaki met his expectations, the more his father came to demand from him.
大学に入った頃だったか。あの人は私に言ったのだよ。
Michiaki's voice trembles slightly, as if afraid to revisit the memory of his father. It takes some time before the next words emerge from his mouth.
お前の自我などいらない。俺の人形になって、俺の死後も働けとね。
University didn't bring the freedom Michiaki had hoped for. Every step he took was decided by his father. Under constant observation, he lived as nothing more than an extension of another man's will.
そして、私の自我の一切がついえ、完全な人形となるのを見計らったかのように、あの人は亡くなったんだ。
That's fucked up to say to your kid, though. Become my puppet. Michiaki turns his eyes toward the window.
それからのことは、君も何かで聞いているだろう。後に残されたのは、完全なあの人のコピーというわけだ。あの人と同じことをしていれば、波動を進めると思っていた。だから、ユミコの行動が何一つとして理解できなかった。
That's why you followed in her footsteps after losing everything? With yet another bitter smile, Michiaki slowly nods.
そんなことをしてどうなるわけでもないんだがな。ただ何かあるのかもしれないとすがるようにして同じ道をたどろうとした。
Did you find anything? He shakes his head.
何もなかったよ。話をしようにも妻も娘ももうどこにもいなかった。ただ何より恐ろしかったのは、そんな状況にあってさえ悲しいとすら思えなかったことだ。わかるかね？幼い頃から他人はクズだゴミだと教え込まれ、女は道具だと言われ続けてきた人間が今更になって家族の愛だの情だの理解できるわけがないのだよ。
Once again, Michiaki's gaze turns toward the ceiling. He's not shedding tears, but he's wearing the expression of a crying man. The expression of a man painstakingly forcing his face to take on the contours of sorrow.
私は悔いることすらできないんだ。
When you've known right, it's easy enough to see wrong for what it is. But when all you've known is violence and cruelty and misery, they're simply facts of your existence. By looking at that situation outside, you can understand that you've fallen into the very bottom, and yet the grief and remorse just won't come. There's no emptier feeling. Sakaki Michiaki is mired in the depths of an extraordinary despair. No matter how he moves, no matter what he says, the smothering darkness all around him doesn't so much as stir. He's sunk into an inescapable hell. It's the polar opposite of his daughter's suffering. Where Yumiko felt pain, this man knows only crushing numbness. Might be hard to swallow coming from a brat like me, but I can sort of understand your feelings.
なんだと?
There was a time when... oh shit, I accidentally clicked. There was a time when I couldn't even grieve for the things I'd lost. I tell Sakaki Michiaki just a little about my own past. About my misery, and my one small glimmer of hope. About the emptiness I felt when even that was snatched away from me. Yeah? About the despair I endured again and again until my heart grew numb. Until I couldn't even recognize it as despair. Wouldn't say I've completely recovered even now, but little by little I've started to experience those feelings again. Do you know why?
さあ、私にはわからない。
It's because of Yumiko. Having her in my life helped me regain something like normal human emotions. By protecting another human being, by sharing my life with them, I gained something in return. The impenetrable darkness inside me was punctured with a few small rays of light. But if I hadn't met Yumiko, there's no doubt I'd still be wallowing in the same despair as this man. I need to be on my way. But tell me something first. What are you planning to do from now on?
これから何も考えてはいない。私には何もないからな。
Alright, in that case, I'm going to make a request of you. Do whatever you want with the time you got left. But don't give up on living.
どうしてそんなことを望むんだ?
Staring straight into Michiaki's eyes, I continue in a forceful tone of voice. Don't take anything else away from Yumiko. Whatever you think of yourself, she still sees you as her father. Goodbye. Damn! Those final words seem to have a lasting effect on Michiaki. I've already turned my back and taken a few steps when I hear him rising to his feet. Ooh.
Yumiko.
When I turn around, Michiaki's looking at me with the expression of a man who's just reached a firm conclusion.
Yumiko, 幸せにしてやってくれ。私のようにはしないでやってくれ。人間として幸せにしてやってくれ。最後の、私の最後の頼みだ。頼む。
This isn't the hollow husk of a man I was speaking to a moment ago. It's not the broken puppet who told me he was nothing. At the end, Sakaki Michiaki stands before me as a father. Don't think I can accept that request.
なぜだ?
Because someday, you'll have to help make Yumiko happy as well. When I speak those words, the light fades from his eyes.
ユミコがそれを望むはずがないだろう。今ここにあの子の母も、そして父もいないのも、すべてはこのくだらない人形のせいなのに。
And Yumiko's a woman who can grieve for a puppet. Weren't you listening? She dragged me up out of the same muck you're sinking in.
本当か?
Yes. I wouldn't even be standing in this room otherwise. Yumiko's lingering unhappiness wasn't a product of bitterness, much less a desire for revenge. It was something else entirely. And that's why I came here, to show them a path toward accepting the past. That's not going to be your final request. I'll come see you again. Make sure you stick around until then. Turning around once more, I head for the door. This time there's no call from behind. Well, there we go. I like that. I like that scene. Yumiko? Yumiko's not standing in the hallway where I left her, but it doesn't take long for me to realize where she's gone. The weather's nice today. She has to be there. So she listened to most of it. I would assume. Oh, the roof. A powerful wind gusts across the rooftop. Sandwiched between the vivid blue sky and dull gray concrete, a small white thing flutters in the breeze. A slender milepost marking the spot where it all began and the spot where it's going to end. Her white skirt and long black hair dance in the air as I slowly approach. Oh? Oh. Wrapping my arms around that slim body from behind, I embraced it tightly. Yumiko must have realized I was approaching. Without flinching or turning around, she reaches up to grasp at my hand. Shoulders trembling softly, she lets her tears spill freely down onto my arm. Affectionately stroking my hand, Yumiko thanks me again and again. The wind gusts strongly past us, but we accept it head on, steadily as a deeply rooted tree. Man, there's a lot of requests happening today, isn't there? Yeah, shoot. She chokes up repeatedly as the words leave her mouth, and yet her voice seems strong and firm. It's going to take a while, you know. Sakaki Michiaki has many, many empty years behind him. Filling that massive void won't be a small project or an easy one. Her hand squeezes fiercely down on mine. I nod and squeeze back. The words I spoke to Michiaki were my honest feelings. It's only because of Yumiko that I'm here today. I owe her everything. Alright, let's teach him together. Sounds like a good plan to me. With that, Yumiko falls silent once more. Grasping my hand, she gazes up to the sky and lets the wind break against her body. Ah, looking up at the sky. Beautiful summer clouds drift by far overhead. The sky Yumiko watched before was always a lonely place. The vault of blue was a symbol of nothingness, a reflection of the emptiness below. But right now, I think she's seeing something very different up there. Yeah, she is. Oh no. Hello? Oh, God. Jesus.
例の件の報告？はい、そうです。いいわよ。報告してちょうだい。東浜電鉄に絡む敵対勢力の排除ですが、筆頭であったカルマ陸将補の急勢により、その勢力は次第に弱まっています。一部の組織暴力が旧来の組織と手を組んで資金集めをしているという情報もありますが、取るに足らないものかと思われます。榊道明のその後は？精神的にかなりの疲弊が見られましたが、
現在は娘の榊由美子の支援により回復傾向にあるとのことです。以前のような暴挙には至らないと見て間違いないでしょう。
Oh, okay, so this is definitely after that.
彼も国益を損ねるようなところまで手を広げずに抱えきれる程度にしておけばよかったのよ。目をつけられちゃいけないところにバレた以上見過ごすわけにはいかなかったわ。
外事経由の情報では陸将補が内通していたとされる外国人の女も処理されたそうです。
門間陸将補もバカなことをしたわね。そのままおとなしくしておけば議員にだってなれたのに、年がいもなくやってきた春に浮かれて欲をかいたせいで病死することになったわけだから。
門間陸将補の後継ですが、内田一佐の昇格が決まりました。
あの人畜無害のおじさんなら無難に務めるでしょう。適当な中間のポジションには首振ってハンコつくだけの人間がいればそれでいいわ。それにこの職場に関して言えば野心など一切ない方がいい。
すべては上層部の思惑通りというわけですか。
Like usual.
そうね。何もかもが最初から最後まで手のひらの上だった。実際に榊道明に対峙した彼らも私たちもね。
902残念ですね。結局ここもやめちゃいましたし。
I mean, I know you're a fan, but
まあ仕方ないわよ。もう子供も生まれたわけだし、
well, what?
そうそう無茶もできなくなる。潮時だったのよ。
My baby! Where's my baby? What? Whoa!
何よ、私の顔をじっと見て。
Show me the baby! I need the baby!
寂しそうですね、先輩。
Oh yeah, she is now.
余計な詮索をしないでちょうだい。キアラ、コーヒー入れて。
はい、わかりました。以上で報告を終わります。
Baby, I have a child! Where? Hello?
さようなら。
Oh, what the fuck? That was
ユー
weird.
ジ。
Was it supposed to do that? Were we supposed to hear the goodbye Yuji at the end there, like as it was fading out? Because it didn't show it. It didn't show it at all. Anyway, like, does it? Yeah, so it was supposed to happen that way. Okay, I like that. Pulled along by a small hand. My baby. I walked down a gently curving road at the side of a very familiar river. Yup. I have to bend over a little to match the height of my companion. Moving at an awkward trot, I do my best to keep up.
パパ遅いよ。もっと早く。
Oh, Yuma! Oh, we're the U squad! We're the goon squad! Maybe you could slow down instead, Yuma.
早くしないとお日様なくなっちゃうよ。
My entreaty, delivered with a lopsided half smile, is shot down instantly. As Yuma hauls me forward with renewed vigor, I hear a quiet giggle from behind us. Look, Yumiko, can you stop laughing and say something to the kid? Ignoring this request entirely, Yumiko smiles over at us. One of her hands is occupied with a picnic basket, and the other with a bag full of painting materials. Ah! We're having the family outing wall painting. She watches her husband and her only daughter run noisily along with an expression of profound contentment on her face.
着いた。ほらパパ座って。ママはここ。
Okay, she's just orchestrating all this, huh? With practiced movements, Yuma brushes away a little dirt, then guides us to our seats on the grass. Hold on, we got the picnic basket. We gotta lay out the blanket. The instant Yumiko settled herself onto the ground, Yuma slips in between her legs and onto her lap. Why don't you sit with me every once in a while, Yuma?
やだ。パ
パの膝の上硬いんだもん。
Well, excuse me. I like my daughter. She's got spunk. Kicking her stubby legs in the air, Yuma turns her face away in rejection. Wow. Yumiko, of course, just laughs and watches. Typical.
ママ、お絵かきしよう、お絵かき。
Oh, that's cute. I like this. Looking back at her mother, Yuma makes her usual demand. Yumiko nods and retrieves a sketchbook from her bag. Oh, we actually get a CG? I didn't expect it. I just thought it was like, oh, she's gonna be, yeah. Coming here has become part of our routine. Look at her. Look at her go. She's ready. She's ready to become the daughter she's always been. Or, you know. It's always the three of us, Yumiko, me, and our only child. Pretty much every weekend, we're here performing a happy family number sweet enough that it'd likely nauseate any unfortunate observers.
ほら、ちゃんと持ちなさい。こないだみたいに汚しちゃうわよ。
Yumiko reaches down and makes Yuma shift the marker in her hand to a more normal grip. Last week, the budding artist in question ended up defacing one of her favorite blouses as a result of that sloppy marker technique. With this energetic response, Yuma immediately switches back to her bizarre initial grip.
もう、言ったそばからね。
She's like, hold on, I got this. I'm going back. Smiling wryly, Yumiko takes our daughter's small hand in hers and shifts the marker again. Hard to believe it's the same hand that once came flying at my face in unthinkable rejection.
お父さんもやっと退院ね。
Sounds like all the tests were good. I'm glad. Yumiko nods brightly. Just the other day, the doctor in charge of Michiaki's case granted approval for a discharge from the hospital. Yumiko's years of steady, determined effort have finally been rewarded.
おじいちゃん退院するの？
Yeah. Good thing we had you around, Yuma.
どうして？
In response to this innocent question, I just stroke her head. Yuma's cheerfulness provided more than enough warmth to thaw Michiaki's heart. These days, he's smiling like a good-natured old man every time his granddaughter just walks into the room.
今度は一緒に連れてきたいわね。
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Yuma, losing interest in the conversation, scribbles passionately away at her sketchbook. Gripping the marker firmly in her fist, she piles vaguely circular shapes onto each other, seemingly at random. Glad, this is amazing. Looking up at me, she grins from ear to ear and points at the sketchbook.
Papa.
I mean, it looks like a mishmash of shapes that might barely qualify as something like a face stare up at me from the sheet of paper. Sorry, Yumiko. Seems Yuma might have taken after me instead of you on this front. Unable to find appropriate words of praise, I let out a fatherly sigh.
まだわからないわよ。これから上手くなるかもしれないのに。ね、ユマ？
I mean, she's only a child, like a little child. What do you want?
これパパに似てるよ。
She really wants this. We've got to do something about her sense of aesthetics, at least. As I heave another long sigh, my wife and daughter cackle at me. And when her laughter dies down, Yumiko mumbles a few words to herself.
こんな日が来るなんて本当によかった。
Stroking Yuma's head gently, she continues with three earnest words. Oh?
ありがとう、ユージ。
Once there was only emptiness inside her. Yumiko rejected everything, avoided all communication, cut off all the ties tying her to the world. Eventually, the passage of time softened her. Slowly, almost against her will, she began to form new connections. But at first, those bonds inspired only denial and guilt. Today, she's full to the brim with heartfelt gratitude. It flows out of her as naturally as she breathes. Every thank you is nothing less than proof that Yumiko's embraced this world with open arms, that she's actually chosen to live in it. That's my line. Thank you, Yumiko. After a long and painstaking search, we found happiness. Of course, it's a fragile thing with no constant form. We still have our struggles and our doubts. But it's not just the two of us anymore. There's something else for us to protect. Something else to protect us both. The future we couldn't begin to imagine is slowly revealing its shape. Oh no.
どんな顔になるのかな?
The warm late spring wind blows gently by us. As the leaves rustle softly in the distance, Yuma's musical voice flies off toward the ocean. In the sky we've drawn together, there's not a single speck of cloud. Aww, I like that. That was a nice end. You can tell I was crying just a little bit. Not as much as like, I mean, alright, they all have their own end song. Ooh, boy. Ooh. Did it? Oh, it didn't do that before. I like that. Oh, where it shows like the rough sketch of the CG. I like that. Should I talk over this? I mean, credits are usually the time where I discuss my thoughts on the route and stuff, so fuck it. I really like that ending. That was literally the everything came up Millhouse ending. Oh, look at the music. Definitely the everything came up Millhouse ending. Even though I don't like her father at all, it's nice to see there was more resolution with that as well. Along with just, we beat him we win. Like, you know. The route itself, I did like. I'd put it on, I mean, it was a different beast entirely than Machina and Omni. All the routes are different completely, of course. If I were to say, I'd probably put it like in the middle between those two in terms of likeness. Oh no, the stabbing. But yeah, I thought this was a nice route. It had an amazing ending, perfect ending. Normally I cry at the end, and I did, not as bad as I did Amine, and it's because although they ended all happily for the most part, because apparently we got the good end, because I'm awesome and I'm good at picking endings. But this one was more like, it had enough like, or like cute, funny moments along with the like happy, sad, that I didn't cry as much, but the tears were still there. Like, I don't know, man. I liked it a lot though. Oh god. Now we have to pick a new route. Ooh, boy. Hope you guys enjoyed 2.5 hours of a finale. This is the longest finale. The fuck, Blizzard? Usually I like to do the finale after I make the decision. But like, this, and I told you guys I would go to the very end on this one too. And oof, it's 2.5 hours. I don't have time to record anything else today, but that's okay. That's fine. It was totally worth it. Ooh, this is gonna be a long render time. That's all I gotta say. I'll just render while I'm sleeping or something. I don't know. See, look at the Peppy! Look at the Peppy! Like I was just like, oh, he's got a wife and a child. Child? What? What do you mean? What you mean I got a child? You know? Yeah. Hello? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh wait, I didn't even pay attention. Was it doing any sexy CGs in the credits? 'Cause oof. If there was, I had to go back and censor it. I'll double check. I don't think there was. Didn't look like it. I don't know. 'Cause usually I'm just like looking around like, oh, you know. Ooh. It's always just like, woof, whenever you finish a route, man. It's just like, damn. Oh, it feels good that you just accomplished something and experienced a great fucking story, you know? That's literally what this game is. It's just it's just self-contained stories, all of them, and they're all fucking great. Still talking. Machiru's ending theme is just named Skip. Oh, what is that telling me? God damn it, dude. Oh, man. And I know a lot of you probably are triggered by the way that I'm, like, skipping around in terms of routes, as in, like, not doing it in the optimal order. But, you know, that's kind of what I do. I don't like doing things in, like, the order you're supposed to do the routes in, because that's not fun. I just choose based on character, really. That's why I chose Machina first, even though she's like you're supposed to do hers last or some shit. I don't remember. I don't know, man. I was given the list. I was given the list of, oh, you're supposed to do this and this and then this, because if you do this and this and this, and I'm like, I just want to play the video games. Let me play my visual novels, the video games, and let me do my thing. Because if you don't let me do my thing, then oh no, the music's going away. It's gonna do there it is. There it is. Now you're probably wondering. Oh god damn it. Who? You're probably wondering. Oh no. Oh god. Not extra. Secret? What? I don't remember that being there before. Anyway, you're probably wondering. Fuck. You're probably wondering who's gonna be. I don't know why I hovered over her. You're probably wondering who's gonna be next. Machiru or Sachi? Well, this would normally be the time where I'm like, guys, tell me what you want to do, and I'll do it. Or maybe I won't. Fuck you. No, I usually do. But, I think I want to choose again this time. And, how about, let's just leave it as a little bit of a surprise, shall we? Because I already know who I'm doing next. I already know who I'm doing next. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed 2.5 hours of Yumiko's finale. Just as much as I did. Hope you guys shed a little bit of tears at the end, just as I did. And next time, we'll be back with a route, a new route. And I'll see you guys next time.